In a cosmic realm, Tom, an ordinary chef aboard a bustling space station, stumbles upon a perilous secret. His life intertwines with Zala, an alien whose glowing markings reveal imminent danger. As they rally friends to confront an invading force, moral choices blur. Will survival come at the cost of their beliefs? In a clash of worlds, what price will they pay for peace? If you dream of entering universes or planets where humans shine when they meet unknown races, subscribe, turn on notifications, and you will be happy every day with new wonderful sci-fi stories. Well, let's go. The hum of machinery filled the air as Tom shuffled through the narrow aisles of the bustling interspecies kitchen aboard the space station Zenter Prime. The station, a vibrant hub of commerce and culture, thrived in the heart of the galaxy, a melting pot of diverse civilizations. Rows of stalls boasted everything from Glacarian fruit, which shimmered golden under the artificial lights, to greasy, deep-fried Zarvian delicacies that emitted a tantalizing aroma. Exotic scents intertwined, creating a heady mixture that both delighted and unsettled the senses, while the cold, metallic confines of the station contrasted sharply with the warmth of camaraderie surrounding him. Yet, amid this jovial chaos, Tom felt an undercurrent of unease tugging at his heart. He was a humble chef, his hands marked with the scars of 1,000 meals prepared under the pressures of intergalactic expectations. Lean, with tousled brown hair and piercing green eyes that reflected a genuine kindness, Tom blended into the backdrop of cooking pots and sizzling grills, dreaming of a life less impacted by the politics swirling around the galaxy. Just as he turned to stir a pot of bright green stew, its savory scent filling the air with hope, his cabin door slid open with a soft hiss, revealing a tempest of emotions personified. Zala stood on the threshold, a striking alien from the planet Tersuni. She had skin that shimmered blue and green, her body ethereal and almost iridescent, glowing faintly in the dim light of his cabin. Her large, almond-shaped eyes mirrored the depths of the cosmos, filled with a mix of fear and urgency. Zala's long, flowing hair, resembling strands of liquid silver, swayed gracefully as she took a step inside, her breath quick and urgent. "Tom, I need your help," she gasped, her voice trembling as she pulled him aside, urgency radiating from her very being. Concern flooded Tom's senses as he set aside the ladle. "Zala, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." With a flick of her wrist, she pulled her sleeve up to reveal intricate patterns dancing across her skin, glowing ominously with ethereal light. The markings twisted and turned, a language only she understood etched upon her body. "They're coming, and we need to understand my markings. They warn me of danger, of something sinister approaching." Tom felt a chill run down his spine. A heavy sensation settled into his gut as the walls of the kitchen suddenly felt as if they were closing in, an invisible force tightening around him. "We need to figure this out," he said finally, trying to summon the strength that a leader might exude. "Let's gather everyone." As they rushed through the crowded kitchen, Tom felt the pervasive tension building, a specter of dread lurking just outside the edges of his consciousness. The atmosphere shifted around them, filled with the chatter of beings from all corners of the universe. They passed a vibrant group of Dinkalans engaging in animated conversation, their iridescent skin reflecting their emotional states, and a pair of towering Velkorians, whose deep baritone laughter echoed through the hall like rolling thunder. Yet all of this faded into background noise as Tom's focus remained steadfast on Zala's intensity. Her worry seeped into his own resolve. "Where do we go?" Tom asked, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. "We should consult Nira and Holland." Under the dim light of the cabin, Tom pored over Zala's markings like ancient glyphs. The glow from her skin illuminated the small space, casting an ethereal light that danced across their concerned faces. These symbols, they're not just random. They seem to be detecting energy disturbances, he muttered, trailing his finger along the vibrant designs, entranced by the intricate swirls and sharp angles that spoke of languages beyond comprehension. Zala nodded, worry etched on her features. Her skin shimmered under the light, resembling a breathtaking cosmos filled with heavy, dark clouds looming over radiant stars. They communicate thoughts, emotions. But they've never spoken so urgently before. There's a dark presence, it's like they scream of imminent peril. Tom's mind raced, the weight of her words heavy on his conscience. He had always thought of himself as merely a chef, someone who brought flavors and warmth to his comrades. Yet, standing there, he couldn't shake the feeling that fate sealed their paths together in a tapestry of cosmic significance. He took a deep breath. We can't face this alone. We need to rally allies. It's time to approach Nira and Holland. As they walked through the busy corridors, weaving through a tapestry of alien life, smooth-skinned Decalans with their vibrant silver eyes and towering Velcorians adorned in colorful garb, Tom sensed Zala's anxiety bleeding into his own spirit. The echoing laughter and chatter around them felt distant, overshadowed by the urgency of their mission. "Are you sure we can stop whatever is coming?" he asked, his voice filled with resolve yet tinged with doubt. Zala halted, her emerald eyes locking onto his. "We have to try," she replied, her voice unwavering. "Together, we can tackle anything. Please trust me." For a fleeting moment, Tom saw the fear and determination entwined in Zala's expression, and he couldn't help but feel a swell of hope. The training room was dimly lit, the air heavy with the scent of ozone from the recent energy exercises Nira must have conducted. Tom, Zala, Nira, and Holland stood in a loose circle, their respective strengths forming a unique union. Nira was sharp-eyed, an expert in mechanics and strategy, tightening the holster on her blaster with deft fingers, her dark hair framing her face in a chaotic halo. Holland practiced maneuvers with a combat baton, his tall, muscular frame casting an imposing figure against the backdrop of flickering screens and tools scattered across the room. "All right, team, we need to work as one," Tom's voice rang out, steady and unwavering. "Zala's markings are warning us of an invading force, and we need to train for the worst." Suddenly, an alarm blared through the station, piercing the air with an electric urgency. Tom's heart raced at the sudden shift in the atmosphere, the acrid smell of fear sharply contrasting the adrenaline coursing through his veins. The lights dimmed, replaced by ominous red flashes that painted the walls with a haunting pallor. "That's it, they're here," Nira exclaimed, her gaze sharpened, the resolve in her stance echoing the desperate urgency of the moment. They rushed toward the main deck, adrenaline pulsing in their veins, the din of chaos growing louder with each step. The metallic clang of boots against the floor reverberated through the corridors, signaling the impending clash. As they rounded the corner, humming energy blasts lit the space dimly, and the sight before them confirmed what they dreaded. A squadron of armored soldiers, sleek and terrifying, advanced with calculated precision. Tom felt his stomach churn. This was no ordinary confrontation. The soldiers were outfitted in advanced exosuits, glowing panels mapping their bodies with eerie bioluminescence. They moved as one, their eyes dark visors reflecting the chaos unfolding around them. Tom's gaze caught the emblem on their chests, a fanged skull entwined with crimson vines, an unmistakable badge of the Zephyri, a ruthless faction notorious for their dominance in galactic conflicts. "Focus," Tom directed, trying to remain calm despite the rising tide of dread. "We need to figure out what they want." With each synchronized step the soldiers took, it became clear they were here for something specific, and from Zala's urgent markings glowing in response to the threat, Tom feared it was the Heart of Athon. "We've got to protect it," Zala cried, her markings pulsing rhythmically in sync with her heightened emotions, casting shimmering reflections across the room. It's not just an artifact, it's the key to safeguarding our home and our lives. Holland stepped forward, determination etched in his features as he prepared for combat. Then let's make sure they don't get their hands on it. With teamwork and unwavering support, they engaged the invaders, a whirlwind of blaster fire and energy beams illuminating the room in a kaleidoscope of desperate color. Zala, channeling her abilities, conjured a protective energy shield that deflected the incoming blasts while Tom moved to support his friends, deflecting projectiles with hastily snatched tools from nearby crates. But as the dust settled momentarily, revealing the chaos surrounding them, Tom grappled with a haunting realization. The stakes of their confrontation transcended the immediate clash. It was a flicker of a much larger storm brewing on the horizon. Deep down, he couldn't help but wonder if he had the strength to withstand the relentless battles that lay ahead. As the dust settled in the aftermath of their clash, the room was a chaotic tableau strewn with debris, smoke curling through the air. A grim reminder of the fierce battle faced. Heart-pounding, Tom glanced at Zala, Nira, and Holland, each of them breathing heavily but alive, their resolve hardening further with every shared glance. They had fought valiantly, shielding the Heart of Athon from the Zephyri aggressors. I can't believe we actually held them back, Tom breathed, a mix of disbelief and triumph coursing through him. Zala reached for him, her grip firm as she stood beside him, her luminous markings dimming slightly yet radiating an ongoing vigilance. This is just the beginning. There's so much we don't understand about the heart or the sinister forces that want it. Her eyes darted nervously as if scanning their surroundings for lingering threats. Nira grinned amidst the chaos, her confidence infectious. You fought well, but don't let your guard down. They might regroup and return stronger. A shadow flickered in the corner of Tom's vision, causing his heart to race anew. We need to strategize, safeguard the heart, and learn more about Zala's markings if we're going to protect ourselves. But will this end today? Tom mused aloud, his voice trailing off as the weight of uncertainty settled over them. Zala stepped closer, eyes filled with an intensity that drew Tom in. In the dimly lit training room of the vibrant space station, Tom, Zala, Nira, and Holland assembled, encircled by the aura of impending urgency. Each member brought a unique talent to the fold, weaving a tapestry of strengths that would become essential in the turbulent times to come. Nira, with her keen mechanics expertise and sharp features reflecting the dim lights, tightened the holster of her blaster, her determination palpable. Her dark hair contrasted against her pale skin, and her cascade of curly locks framed an expression etched with focus. She had always been the thinker, finding solutions in the chaos. Holland, a towering figure with the build of a seasoned fighter, practiced fluid maneuvers with his combat baton. His shaven head glinted as he moved, and his green eyes burned with intensity. An air of playful bravado often surrounded him, but in this moment, he was all business, channeling adrenaline into precision strikes. Tom's voice rang out steady and unwavering against the cacophony echoing through the station. All right, team, we need to work as one. Zala's markings are warning us of an invading force, and we need to train for the worst. His deep voice carried confidence, yet his heart trembled at the thought of the dangers they faced. Zala, the striking alien with skin that shimmered like a cosmic tapestry, observed her friends with keen awareness. The intricate patterns over her skin pulsed with an otherworldly glow, reflecting her rising anxiety. They were not merely decorations but a physical manifestation of her emotions, their intensity signifying the gravity of the threat encroaching on their home. She felt the weight of reliance rested on her, but she also harbored the strength of her capabilities. Suddenly, the oppressive atmosphere shattered as alarms blared throughout the station, their invasive shrieks slicing through the air like an unwelcome guest. Red lights pulsed ominously, illuminating the training room in an eerie glow. "That's it, they're here," Nira exclaimed, her eyes darting towards the exit, determination replacing trepidation. Without a moment's hesitation, they rushed toward the main deck. Adrenaline flooded Tom's veins. Each step felt heavy with the uncertainty of what awaited them. He could hardly shake the notion that they were racing into the jaws of catastrophe. Chaos ensued as they breached the deck. Soldiers clad in sleek armor stormed through the doorway, weapons drawn and ready. The sight of them sent a wave of dread coursing through Tom, and he caught a glimpse of their advanced weaponry glinting ominously under the flickering lights. He gritted his teeth against the winding fear in his stomach. This invasion was more menacing than he had ever anticipated. Holland surged forward, his stature differentiating him in the melee. Deflecting an energy blast with practiced agility, he swept his baton with precision, carving a path for his comrades. "They're after the Heart of Athon," he shouted, a muted anger lacing his voice. "We have to keep it safe, no matter the cost." Zala stood firmly, her markings glowing brighter with heightened urgency. "I can harness the energy around us to create a protective barrier. Just give me a moment." Concentration twisted her features. Tom could see the strain as she began to manipulate the surrounding electromagnetic forces, drawing upon the power of her people. Wisps of light, ethereal and mesmerizing, danced around her hands, illuminating the disorder that surrounded them. In the midst of the chaos, each power surged through their team, intertwining. Tom felt the thrill of responsibility race through him. He had to rise to the occasion. "Focus. We need to figure out what they want," he shouted, rallying his friends amid the cacophony, striving to instill a sense of unity. The soldiers advanced, relentless in their pursuit. Tom coordinated with Nira. He could see her technical mind racing through strategies, formulating plans even in the heart of battle. "Let's flank them. We can use the environment to our advantage," she suggested, darting behind a metallic structure for cover, her eyes scanning rapidly for any weaponry they could use. "What about the cargo tubes?" Holland blurted, light dawning on him. "If we can get up high, we can ambush from above." Tom nodded, adrenaline surging. "Zala, can you maintain that barrier while we reposition?" With fierce determination, Zala replied, "Yes. Just stay close." Racing toward the access hatch, they climbed into the overhead conduits, utilizing the station's infrastructure to their advantage. The metallic walls loomed around them, shadows stretching ominously as they hurried through the cramped space. As they reached a suitable vantage point, the group poured out into the cargo bay, gathering momentum for their counterattack. Tom felt the rush as purpose surged through him. He had tapped into something deeper, a primal instinct to protect. From their high ground, they launched themselves at the soldiers below, executing sharp tactics that confused their opponents. Yet, as they fought, an unsettling question loomed in Tom's mind. He understood their mission, but at what cost? The ethics of their battle unfurled like hidden daggers. These soldiers were conditioned to obey, bound by duty, just as they were. In the chaos below, Tom found himself face to face with an enemy soldier. The soldier's visor glinted under the harsh lights, momentarily reflecting a semblance of humanity. A simple soldier, perhaps trying to do the right thing within the constraints of his own universe. Their eyes met, and in that fleeting moment, a silent acknowledgement sizzled. They were not enemies by choice, only by circumstance. Yet, before he could dwell further, the soldier lunged forward, and instinct took over. The confrontation ended in a flurry of movement, and Tom felt the weight of the struggle settle heavily in his chest. He fought harder, the battle becoming a cyclone of violence and conflict, each strike resonating with reflection on duty and choice. In the midst of the conflict, Zala's markings pulsed intensely, sending waves of energy that momentarily stunned several soldiers. "The Heart of Athon may be the nucleus of this attack," she called out, urgency etched across her face. "We've got to protect it." With those words hanging in the air, they realized that the mysterious artifact was no mere relic. It was a beacon, a source of power coveted across galaxies. The implications of this threat unfurling like an ancient scroll. The tide of battle turned as they embraced their unity. Each member flanked an enemy, and the synergy of their combined abilities began to unfold. A beautiful chaos that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Tom's thoughts flitted to the dangers that these enemies posed, not just to their station, but to peace across the cosmos. The atmosphere aboard the station had shifted dramatically within moments, pulsating with tension as Tom, Zala, Nira, and Holland readied themselves for the impending confrontation. The metallic walls reverberated with the frenzied footsteps of the approaching soldiers, each thud echoing the urgency of their mission. Tom stood at the forefront, his heart pounding as he grasped a makeshift blaster, cobbled together from various discarded military components found throughout the station. Its cold surface sent shivers down his spine. This was not his realm. He was a chef, not a soldier. Yet there he stood, summoned by a fierce call to protect the only home he had ever known. "Zala, can you feel anything from your markings?" Tom asked, his voice edged with anxiety. She bit her lip, her fingers tracing the ceremonial patterns glimmering on her skin. Each line pulsed rhythmically, responding to the distant encroachment of their foes. "They're sending out warnings, but also guidance. There's power in the Heart of Athon. It's connected to the very life force of this station." The soldiers burst through the bay doors with a metallic clang, their sleek armor glistening ominously under the dim lights. They were a fusion of advanced technologies, housing weapons that hummed with lethal energy. As they stepped into the room, a commander, distinguished by a scar running vertically across his face, raised his weapon and surveyed the ragtag group with a cold, calculating gaze. "Stand down. Hand over the Heart of Athon," he commanded, his voice a deep growl that resonated throughout the chamber. The surrounding air thickened with an oppressive energy, as fear seeped into the hearts of Tom and his friends. Holland tightened his grip on the combat baton, glancing at Tom as they exchanged a quick nod. With a deep breath, Tom stepped forward, his mind racing. "Why do you need it? What makes it so valuable?" The commander smirked, a glimmer of cruelty in his eyes. "Your little station knows nothing of the power contained within that artifact. Hand it over, or witness the destruction of your home and all its inhabitants." A flicker of determination ignited in Tom's chest. He couldn't allow fear to dictate their fate. "We won't give it up without a fight," he bellowed, drawing upon the courage that surged within him from the bonds of friendship established among them. In the chaos that followed, Nira surged into the fray, her mechanical skills harnessed into quick, decisive action. She dove behind a console, flipping switches and rerouting energy from the station's systems into a barrage of defensive countermeasures. "I can create a shield that will buy us some time," she shouted, pulling out her modular device, a clever contraption developed from a combination of parts scavenged from past missions. Zala joined her quickly, unleashing her own energy manipulation. A swirling barrier of light enveloped their position, deflecting the first wave of energy blasts that rained down upon them. "Stay close. I can amplify the shield's power," she said, her markings shimmering brighter as she connected her life energy with the station's core. Tom felt a rush of adrenaline. The stakes had never been higher. He steeled himself and now understood the depth of their connection. Every fear, every worry about the future faded as he embraced his allies, not just in battle but in spirit as well. They were a cohesive unit, bound by a shared purpose. Despite the overwhelming odds, they managed to hold off the initial assault, tactical moves emerging organically among the team. Holland moved like a phantom, darting between enemy fire, using his combat baton to inflict disabling blows to the enemy soldiers in an intricate dance of survival. However, each strike revealed a stark truth. They were outnumbered and outgunned. "We need a strategic retreat to the command center," Tom urged, his voice clear amidst the chaos. "We'll regroup, assess our abilities. We can't afford to lose the heart, or our hope along with it." "On my mark," Neera shouted as she engaged a series of energy redirectors along the corridor. 3, 2, 1, now? They darted back, timing their movements as a perfectly synchronized ensemble. The barrier around them flickered, its energy waning, but it held until they reached the relative safety of the command center. A fortress of screens and blinking lights, groundwork that resonated with past battles fought in defense of the station. As they barricaded the door with whatever they could find, Tom caught his breath, an air of uncertainty and dread weaving itself tightly in his gut. "What do we do now?" he asked, looking into the determined faces of his teammates. Neera, her eyes intense and calculating, began analyzing the data pouring in from the station's network. "If we can access the mainframe, I can upload a defensive protocol to release guided turrets across the station. It may give us an edge," she replied, determination sharpening her features. "Can you do it fast?" Holland interjected, pacing nervously, his hands clenched into fists. "I have no choice. They'll be here any second," Neera snapped. Pressing her fingers against the control panel, her forehead creased in concentration. She felt the electrical vibrations coursing through her fingertips. Tom glanced at Zala, who was still tethering herself to her markings, her eyes wide open, processing the energy shifts. "Can you commune with the heart? Extract any tactical advantage we can gain from it?" he proposed, falling into her intensity with shared resolve. Zala nodded firmly, taking a deep breath. "The heart is more than a simple artifact. It binds us to the energy of the universe. If I delve deeper into its essence, it might enable a psychic connection with the soldier's motives." Despite the fear shadowing her face, her voice possessed an unwavering resolve. "Okay then. Let's make sure we're ready to implement every advantage we can," Tom urged, rallying their spirits. From behind the barricaded door, muffled voices of the invading soldiers echoed, growing closer as they strategized to breach the defenses. "They cannot hide forever," the commander's voice rumbled ominously. "Let them come," Tom whispered, the weight of leadership heavy upon his shoulders. "We will stand together." The trio of allies concentrated, the atmosphere thickening with energy, time seeming to stretch as moments felt like the ticking of eons. Each heartbeat resonated through the command center, an unspoken bond knitting their fates tighter. Then, without warning, the door rattled violently as crashing waves of sound pounded against it, the commander's figure looming through the cracks, suffusing the air with danger. "Get ready," Neera shouted, fingers flashing as she initiated the turrets. After a relentless struggle against the soldiers, Tom and his allies managed to secure the Heart of Athon in the command center. The air was thick with tension, the aftermath of the battle leaving a weighty silences in its wake. With strained breaths, they exchanged glances, each member of the team feeling the bond forged in the crucible of conflict. Exhausted yet resolute, a newfound determination surged through their veins. "We are more than just a team now. We're guardians of this station and the galaxy," Tom declared, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. He looked each of his friends in the eye, piercing through their fatigue with the intensity of his belief. "Together, we can face whatever comes our way." Zala smiled warmly, her intricate markings pulsating softly, glowing with gratitude against the backdrop of dim lights. "You've become a true leader, Tom. Thank you for believing in us." Her eyes sparkled with admiration, but also a lingering concern that crept into the corners of their minds. A deep rumble reverberated through the command center, shaking the walls and causing monitors to flicker. "What was that?" Holland asked, caution lacing his tone as he adjusted his grip on the baton. "More of them? Or worse? Something worse?" Neera's lips formed a grim line, readying her blaster as the tension mounted. Just then, the screen flickered back to life, revealing a deep space holographic transmission. An imposing figure loomed in the center, a silhouette highlighted by dark armor adorned with sinister insignias. It was General Xylar, the ruthless commander of the invading forces. "Foolish guardians," Xylar's voice echoed through the chamber, cold and dripping with contempt. "You think you've won? You merely delay the inevitable." His presence was suffocating, and Tom could feel the weight of despair lurking within the bravado. "We'll never give up on the heart," Tom shouted back. "Its power lies within a unity driven by hope and resistance. You'll never claim it." Xylar leaned closer to the camera, a malicious smile creeping across his face. "Oh, but I am counting on it. The heart is not just an object. It represents a beacon for the discontented across the galaxy. Bring your allies to me, Tom, or I will ensure the collateral damage will be unparalleled." With that, the transmission flickered out, leaving an uneasy silence. Tom felt a mix of fright and determination wash over him. They had already seen the devastation wrought by Xylar's forces, and the thought of aligning with anyone felt like a betrayal of their newfound family. "Tom, we have to counterattack before they regroup," Neera suggested tentatively. "We can't let them win this psychological game. Maybe we should rally more allies, find other factions who despise Xylar as much as we do." Zala chimed in, her markings flickering with urgency. Tom realized the challenges ahead weren't merely physical battles but also a game of strategy and alliances. "Agreed, but let's be smart about this. Whoever we approach needs to understand the stakes." He paused, holding their gazes firmly. "More than anything, we must maintain our trust in each other. That's our true power." As they began to strategize their next moves, the command center transformed into a vibrant hub of activity. Maps of the galaxy projected in holographic form floated above the console as Zala traced routes that led to other systems: the Sunev Nebula, the Crystalline Republic, even the enigmatic Ashari, known for their elusive ways. "Each faction has its motives," Holland pointed out. "We must choose wisely. They won't simply jump at the chance to help us. We have to offer something they value." Every option felt painstakingly precarious. There was a silent agreement that risk accompanied every decision, a precarious balance danced upon by future allegiances. "Let's begin with the Sunev Nebula. Their inhabitants, known for their magical manipulation of molecular structures, might provide us with an edge," Tom proposed. "Then we should act quickly," Neera insisted, her fingers flying over the console as she plotted the jump coordinates. "Every moment wasted could push us further into Xylar's grasp." In the station's heart, Tom orchestrated the coordination with a surprising confidence, drawing strength from their shared resolve. Each member of the team played their part in gathering supplies, calibrating the ship's engines, and fortifying their strategy for the encounter ahead. As the ship departed, the stars outside danced and flickered like ancient myths whispering tales of times long past. The crew convened in the briefing room, excitement buzzing in the air, but Tom felt an underlying current of fear threading through the fabric of their mission. "Remember," he began, attempting to capture their attention amidst the expanding darkness outside. "We're embarking into the unknown. Trust your instincts, rely on each other, and trust you," Zala finished softly, her gaze piercing. Her trust in him reinforced the coalitions they built, despite the imminent darkness lingering ahead. They soon entered the Sunev Nebula, a spectacle of brilliant colors and vibrant energy pulsating with life. Ethereal lights drifted gracefully through the cosmic expanse, as if the nebula itself were alive, breathing secrets into the void. Nira scanned for any signs of habitation while Holland manned the controls. Suddenly, an orb of shimmering light coalesced before them. "Looks like we've got company," he remarked offhandedly. The orb expanded, revealing a group of Sunevens, delicate beings with iridescent skin reflecting the nebula's glow. Ethereal wings fluttered gracefully, sending ripples of rainbow hues radiating through the expanse. One of them, a slender figure shimmering with an otherworldly light, approached their ship. "Fate calls, Guardians," the Suneven spoke, her voice melodious and echoing like a softly flowing stream. "What brings you to our sacred domain?" Tom felt the weight of their endeavor pressing upon him. As the realities of their mission flooded his mind, he remembered their fragile hopes and their unyielding courage. "We seek allies against General Xylar," he stated, all eyes fixed on him, eager for his words to resonate. "We believe the Heart of Athon is a beacon of hope that can unite us against this menace." The Suneven's expression softened, flickering between sympathy and sadness, as she regarded the specter of their struggle. "Unity, yes, but know that with it comes sacrifice. Are you prepared to stand against the shadows that lurk within the hearts of your own kind?" A shiver journeyed down Tom's spine. He realized that the threat wouldn't just be Xylar. They must also confront the fears and dissent within themselves, the fears that betrayal may run as deep as trust. With a steady resolve, Tom nodded. "We are ready to face whatever we must." Together, the Sunevens exchanged glances, murmuring amongst themselves like whispers carried by the wind. Finally, the shimmering figure approached closer, embracing them in an aura of warmth. "If unity is what you seek, then unity you shall have. We share this bond with you." As their destinies intertwined, Tom felt it, an electric pulse of connection tethering them, guardians of the galaxy and the Sunevens entwined through the dark tapestry of fate. Yet, lingering in the shadows, Xylar and the dark secrets of the heart continued to loom, watchful and patient. The battle lines were drawn, alliances sealed, a flickering flame of hope ignited against the vast uncertainty of a cosmos rife with destabilizing darkness. As the screen fades to black, a voice whispers through the void, the shadows grow deeper, the stakes higher. Will our heroes thrive in the light of their unity, or will the darkness ensnare them all? The universe holds its breath, waiting to witness the clash between Guardians and the shadows, as destinies collide. If you liked this story based on real events, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like it. Here you can dive into a different reality every day, where anything can happen. Comment below what kind of story you would like to hear here. Thank you very much for your attention. We are the Sci-Fi family.